Good day, everyone, and welcome to More Than Just Business, powered by the Growth Coach of the Poconos. I'm Franzo, and with us today is Glynn Murphy CPA from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry if I'm running a little bit late. It's a busy time of year around here. Even though it's not tax season anymore, it's still tax season.
It's still tax season. It's extended, so it's going to seem like perpetual tax season because they extended, I believe, until July 15th, maybe? Am I right?
July 15th. I've been given another 90 days on the rock pile.
Lucky you. And plus, with the shelter in place or the stay at home or the social distancing, you're having to get used to a whole new dynamic of how to take care of your clients, right?
Well, sure. I mean, how do you get the information to the people who need it? I mean, we have to add additional steps. We're packaging everybody's information. We're sending it to them. They have a couple of signature forms that they would fill out and mail back to me. There's other ways to collect signatures. DocuSign is also available. But I like the good old-fashioned, you put your hands on your tax return kind of deal.
Yeah, right.
Sign it, send it back to me, and I've been through some of these DocuSign things, and it's pretty robotic.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've been doing this for a long time. You've been in business for how long now?
Oh, since 1992. That was the last time I worked for somebody else.
Wow, so 30 years.
28 years.
Yeah,
28 years.
30 years. We'll round up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's great. And you're located in Scranton.
We're right off of the interstate at Davis Street below Montage Mountain.
Excellent. And just so there's a point of reference, Glenn is my CPA. Glenn does my payroll. Glenn was the very first professional that I met when I launched my coaching business a few years ago. And I just decided right then, Glenn needs to be on my team to take care of what I need taken care of for my corporation. And I have been thrilled with it ever since we began this relationship, for sure. So thank you so much for that, Glenn.
You're very welcome.
And one of the things I wanted
to send happy people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you did. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that, not only because of his prowess in the CPA world, but I also admire Glenn because he knows how to work hard, but he knows how to play hard. And Glenn is a world traveler. And I just want, when you were a kid and you had to see Aunt Ruth's slide presentation of her trip to Egypt or something, and you see her on the camel and everything. Well, it's not really like that. When Glenn shares the pictures, not only on social media, but when you go to his office, he has pictures of his travels all around, and there's a story behind every one of them. Tell us a little bit about your travels, and I know this is going to be a little lamentful because that has been put on hold for now, right?
Yes, all of our international travels have been put on hold. At the end of 2019, we actually had some travel bargains over Cyber Monday and Black Friday. We had booked trips to Dubai, Australia, Costa Rica, and then shortly thereafter to Tokyo, Japan. So our next 4 months, our May, June, July, and August was going to be spent somewhere else once a week out of every month. But now, since COVID-19 has reared its ugly head, the transportation industry, the travel industry, all of these are things that are going to have to go through some physical social therapy to get to where they got to go. There's a lot that has to be done to accommodate traveling again.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great points. So tax information, you had said how busy you are and, you still got another 90 days on the rock pile, but it's even more intense than that because there's so many questions. The tax information is so important now, even more so because people are trying to acquire some of these funds that are coming out. And we were just talking before the show. So the PPP which is the payroll protection program, has billions more available to businesses now. And there's so many other things. There's the CARES Act, there is the stimulus. So can you touch on each briefly and some of the dynamics of them and some of the things, because people are not finding the answers that they need in the places that they would normally find them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Initially, we were doing applications for all of our clients for the Economic Disaster Loan. EIDLS is what that one was called. And these are regular SBA loan applications. And whenever there's a disaster and this qualifies, people would be able to go to this portal and apply. Initially, there was going to be a $10,000 advance, which due to overwhelming response, turned quickly into a $1,000 per employee advance. Some of these advances have ended up in people's accounts this past week. So it took about 3 weeks after the application process to see an advance of some money. But now, majority of my clients are waiting for an offer of a loan. So these applications that we submitted, we did 77 of them, are being sent to underwriting. They're being evaluated, and they're determining how much money is going to be offered in the form of a loan. One of my clients actually received an offer of a loan for $112,000, $10,000 of which would be forgiven, and a $102,000 loan that they can pay 3.875 or $500 a month for. So to get $100,000 in these crazy times and have the ability to pay it back over the course of 30 years would be something that would make sure that your business is going to stay alive. So if you've applied for one of these, hang in there. They are underwriting. They are going through the applications. They got 1 million of them, and they only have so many people, and they're processing them one at a time.
Yeah,
That's the first one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that's a lot of the trepidation and the fear and the anxiety is from the waiting, because that's super hard for everybody for sure.
Sorry, I hit the stapler. The Payroll Protection Plan actually released an additional $484 billion to help small businesses cover their payroll for the next 2 months. The program started taking applications in the middle of April, and the funding quickly ran out, but now they received additional appropriations. The additional appropriations are up for grabs now, and I'm encouraging many of my small businesses to apply for these PPP loans while they're available. The importance of the PPP loan is this is not going to have to be repaid as long as you use it for payroll or payroll taxes or utilities or rent for your business. There's a report that will have to be given after you spend the money to tell the government what you spent it on, and as long as you spent it on what you were supposed to spend it on, you won't have to repay it.
I see.
But if you spend it on something else, it becomes an 18-month loan, and you do have to repay it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So PPP program is based on how much you paid out in payroll in either the last 12 months or all 12 months in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
If your total payroll, they divide it by 12 and then multiply that by 2.5 to come up with how much you will qualify for in PPP funds. PPP funds, once spent, do not have to be repaid. And as long as you pay them, pay payroll out of those funds, you'll be forgiven. So the PPP application process does not go directly through the SBA. You have to deal with a banker to apply for this PPP loan. Many bankers are overwhelmed today, and what I'm suggesting is that people go and use an online banker instead. I was able to secure the funds from my PPP using an online bank called Kabbage, KABBAGE.com. Kabbage.com is an investment bank, and they are an SBA lender, and they are accepting the PPP applications online. You set up a username and a password, answer some questions about your company, and then upload documents that will prove that you paid payroll last year, prove the ownership of the company, and to prove that the company has a bank account. So you have to upload some of these documents, but the application process is fairly easy.
Wow, that's great information. I had no idea about that. That's great. What else should we know, Glenn?
Well, you know that you can call your local banker, but like I said, the possibility of you getting through to them or getting them to help you at this point is probably going to be slim to none. So this is why I'm recommending you go with the online bank. They take the application information over the internet and submit your application directly to SBA. I'm not sure of one thing, and that is whether certain banks have access to an allotted amount of funding or whether they're just taking the applications one at a time. And the reason I say this is because I submitted my application a full week after they said that the money had run out.
Right.
I got approved and I got the money.
Oh, so it's a timing kind of a thing. I see what you're saying. So the underwriting may be behind what they're reporting, or even vice versa, right?
Well, it's not so much the underwriting as it is on this loan, like the EID, the disaster loan. They're
Right.
underwriting those right now, and those are loans that you will have to repay. So
Okay.
they're taking a little bit more care with those. The PPP, they have loosened the purse strings because they want to get this money out to the small business.
I see.
You still have to prove to them the ownership of the organization, that you paid payroll last year, and that you can connect this to a bank account. Oh, you have to prove your identity too. They have to send them a copy of your driver's license.
Right.
So all of the above, they made it really easy, where all of the banks are making it very difficult. So if you want to get in on this and you paid payroll last year, this is going to be the easiest way for you to do it. There is also another plan for people who don't pay payroll but have a business that has a profit for last year. And if you have a sole proprietorship, you can apply for PPP under your Schedule C. So many businesses operate as a sole proprietor. They file a Schedule C.
Right.
You will have to submit your Schedule C from 2019. So if your taxes aren't done yet, get your taxes done.
That's the grab. Get your taxes done. Yeah,
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. A lot of people didn't know for this stimulus or this emergency recovery or whatever that they had to have their taxes done already, and at least for 2018, right? And
That's
so a lot of people were they were out of luck and they were scrambling to get their taxes done. So
even if they got them done for 2018, it wasn't going to promise them a stimulus check.
yeah, right. No, very true. Very true. Yeah. Is there anything else that we should know going into the summer and any of these programs, or how we can prepare for maybe one of the next things that come up? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be pandemic, but it's always good practice, I feel, to prepare in case of tornado or flood or any kind of disaster or thing that may impact your business. Is there any kind of helpful tips that you could give to us, or strategies?
It is brand new. It is called Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. For people who have a small business that actually makes money, they can apply for pandemic unemployment assistance at the Pennsylvania unemployment website.
Yep.
So uctax.pa.gov, you can apply for your own unemployment. Now, you can't be working. If you're working, you're not unemployed.
There's no double dipping.
Unemployment are true. You have to qualify, you have to prove, you have to get a financial determination back, and then you have to report to the unemployment office whether you worked or not last week. You have to file a claim every other week.
Right, just like anything else, every 2 weeks you have to for this PUA. So that makes a lot of sense. Glenn, thank you so much for your time. I know that you are super busy, and I really am so happy and privileged that you gave us some of your valuable time today. Thank you so much. And to end, how do people get in touch with you if they have any other questions? I know that I've got some questions after this for us to talk about.
Well, we get a lot of questions all the time, but we have some very valuable resources at my website at gdmcpa.com. You can find an entire litany of PDFs that you can print out that will explain tax topics, business topics, lending topics, borrowing topics, investing topics. So there's a lot of information that you can go right to my website anytime you want, and you can find what you're looking for. You want to get in touch with us, that's the best way to open a line of communication. So.
Excellent. Glynn, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Glynn Murphy, CPA, Scranton, PA. Thank you so much, Glynn.
You're very welcome, Rick. You have a wonderful day and stay
You
safe.
do the same. Thank you. You stay safe and healthy. Thank you.